Another road game for the Seminoles. This time they head up to Winston-Salem to take on Wake Forest in prime time. Nole Insiders Lane Hurt and Tim Littefeld here with you for your game preview. Tim, a tough one to swallow for the Noles last weekend. Clemson dominant in almost every way against the Seminoles. How big is this one for the Noles to have an opportunity to get back on track and improve that last week was kind of a fluke?
It's huge. Look, last week's game against Clemson it was always going to be an uphill climb, like Willie Taggart said. Florida State was going to have to play a perfect game to give itself a chance at the upset. That didn't happen. So now you move into what I consider to be a defining slate of this schedule. You have 5 games between now and an open date in the middle of November. You have at Wake Forest, home against Syracuse and Miami, at Boston College, and home against Alabama State. In theory, and if Florida State plays the way it did in some of those games, like against NC State and Louisville, all 5 of those games are winnable. But that starts Saturday to what could be the most difficult test of that bunch, which is a visit to Wake Forest. 5-1, was ranked in the national polls until last week when they lost just a wild game with Louisville, and it's going to be a challenge. A road game at night, that's a hurdle that this team needs to clear, the program needs to clear and show that it can do. And if you do that, now you got some positive momentum going into the rest of that stretch. So to me, it's possible when you get to November, December, and you're looking back on the regular season, this stretch here and this game here can kind of be considered maybe a turning point potentially for everything that comes behind it.
Offensively for the Seminoles, you talked to Willie Taggart and the players. None of them were happy with what they were able to do at Clemson. But this is an opportunity this week against a Wake Forest defense that has struggled mightily. They gave up 62 points to Louisville last week. That's a heck of a lot of points.
Yeah.
Willie Taggart tight-lipped on who will be the starting quarterback, whether it will be James Blackman or Alex Hornibrook. But with that said, does it matter who the quarterback is if the game plan is let's get the ball to Cam Akers and remember what that guy can do?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it's going to be. I'm kind of with you. I think we're all intrigued by the quarterback situation because we don't know and Willie Taggart isn't telling. But at the end of the day, my personal opinion is that both James Blackman and Alex Hornibrook are capable of giving the offense what it needs to win this game if they're going to win this game. If it's going to happen, I think both of those guys will be fine in that respect. I'm with you. Let's get to a Cam Akers-style game plan. That was going to be tough against Clemson last week given the talent they have on defense and on their defensive front especially in the defensive line. But against a Wake Forest team that, they love to give up yards, they love to give up points, and they kind of have a similar situation. We'll talk about the offense in a second, but their offense goes super, super fast. They score a lot of points, and then they play a style that says, I'm sure they're not okay giving up lots of points, but I think they understand that as sort of a cost of doing business for them because they plan on racking up a lot of yards and a lot of points. So for me, if I'm Florida State, get to what you do offensively, run your tempo, run your plays the way that you do. But I want to see number 3 as the focal point of the offense. I want to see the running game get going, build some confidence for that offensive line, and have you in a game where both teams are going to run a lot of plays and run as fast as they can. I'd like to think that Florida State can sort of set the tone and dictate the terms of the game, and you can do that with your running game if you're successful with Cam Akers.
You mentioned Wake's offense, number 4 in the country in total offense right now. The speed, of course, is fast. What's not fast is once they get into the play.
Right.
It's at the mesh point. They're one of the slowest teams at the mesh point between the quarterback and the running back. They absolutely try to force the defense to choose before they choose what they want to do. If they choose wrong, you can see the running back or the quarterback take it up the middle. If not, they find Sage Surratt, another one of their big wide receivers, out wide. It's certainly a tough attack to try to stop.
It is. I asked Willie Taggart about it before Thursday's practice about can you get that kind of a look from the scout team when Wake Forest is maybe not the only team in the country that runs it like this, but certainly the only team in the ACC and maybe the only team in the Power 5. It kind of, in a weird way, it's almost like if you're a pro football fan, the way Le'Veon Bell would get a handoff and just sort of hang out behind the line of scrimmage waiting to see what was going to develop and what the defense was going to do and then take off.
Steelers reference.
Former Steelers reference. Wake does it with 2 players. They have the quarterback and the running back, and they have the option there. And then they're reading Florida State's defenders, and they're counting on, quite frankly, somebody missing an assignment or somebody not wanting to do their job or being tempted to not do their job or to react to something poorly. This is an offense that thrives on a defense that is over-aggressive. Maybe you use your speed against you, and they want you to be undisciplined. So for Florida State, you have to everybody do this. It's the same thing you'd hear when you play Georgia Tech once in a blue moon. Everybody just stays disciplined. 11 guys do their job. You'll be okay. obviously, looking at Wake Forest results, the fact that they're racking up more than 500 yards a game and scoring. You mentioned they gave up 62 to Louisville the other night. Well, they scored 59. So that's a lot of points. You're going to win more often than not when you score 59 points. So it's obviously easier said than done. It sounds like a simple task. Yeah, just do your job. That's fine. But other teams haven't been able to do it, at least not with much consistent success. Will Florida State be able to? If they can, they're going to have a pretty good chance to win this game.
There you have it, Seminole fans. It's the Noles and the Demon Deacons, 7:30 p.m. in Winston-Salem. Should be a beautiful fall night. Finally get some football weather out there.
Yeah, I know, for a change. It's been 115 degrees for the last 8 months, so I'm happy to have a little bit of a chill.
There you have it. We'll have everything you need post-game as Florida State looks to get back on track in the ACC. For Tim, I'm Lane. Go Noles.